All right, so this episode we're going to talk about a cave at a waterfall.
Yes, welcome back to Earth University. We kind of came from Semuc Champey, which is in the middle of Guatemala. These beautiful waterfalls that kind of cascade down. And one of your options while you're there is a cave that's kind of nearby the waterfalls that you can do. The hostel we were staying at offered a cave tour for like 100 quetzales.
Which is 20 Canadian dollars, 15 US.
I wasn't expecting too much from this cave tour, but it ended up being, I think, one of my favorite days of the trip, which was kind of...
Oh, really?
Yeah, it ended up sneaking up on me how much I enjoyed doing the cave.
That's great.
So you weren't feeling 100%, so you didn't really...
I didn't need to do the cave. I'd done it a couple times before.
So yeah, you go out and you go to this cave. There's a place for you to kind of leave your stuff before you go in. Before you go in, they give you these candles.
So this long?
Yeah.
Wax?
Yeah, and that's cool because, I mean, I don't know, how often do you do these caves with these candles?
How often do you do any tour with a candle?
Yeah, and so they light the candle and the wax drips down a little bit. It's like, but you're going through this cave and there's stretches of water where you're trying to keep it above and you're kind of trying to swim through.
And your group was about how big? 15, 20?
Something like that. Yeah. You're going through.
You're in the cave for how long total?
I don't know, I think it's about an hour.
Yeah.
But you're going through this cave and everybody's got these candles and there's stretches of it where you kind of have to climb up. There's stretches of it where you kind of slide down a little bit. There's some really cool sections of it and it's just amazing because everything's just bathed in this candlelight. There are a few people in the group who, you accidentally get your candle wet and then you're kind of candleless for whatever stretch. They're trying to light their candle with other people's candles.
You're using other people's candles, light your candle.
Yeah, it was very...
It's like this. Please give me some light.
Yeah.
And what makes it so amazing is there's like a river going through this whole cave.
Well, it wasn't too, like, we're at the end of dry season here when we're here in Guatemala.
Quite so much water.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of water moving through it anyway.
Still ladders you're climbing.
Yeah, there's still ladders you're climbing, places you're sliding down.
Getting wet.
Yeah, there's so you go through this whole cave. I think it's like 30 minutes to go through one way, and by the end, you're in the cave. Your candle's kind of done. It's kind of snubbed out. I had a section where I was climbing a ladder, and the wick of my candle like went sideways, and so the candle started burning like twice as fast, and I was like, ah! So my candle ended up getting pretty short, and everybody's cracking jokes about, well, it's not about, how big your candle is, it's about, how long your candle stays lit and stuff like that. You get to the end part of the cave, and there's a little part you can kind of climb up and jump in. That was pretty cool. You get given another candle and you start heading back, and heading back was pretty fun because you're doing everything in reverse, and the sections you had to climb up, you have to go down. There were stretches where you have to climb down this part, and people were actually, the guide goes like this, he's at the bottom, and you throw your candle down to the guide, and he just snatches it out of air and just adds it to his whole handful of candles. Like, the guide impressed me so much in that cave because everybody's tossing this candle down and they turn a little bit and he just catches them out of the air, adds it to the collection. Yeah, it was crazy.
He does it every day. These professionals, it's so cool to watch.
And so we just had a blast in the cave. You get towards the end and there's like a little bit of a rock chute, and the guide goes like, he sets up and you go up and you sit kind of on his leg, and he goes, okay, lean back. And you lean back and you drop down this chute into like the water below, and it was, that part was really cool.
You can't see where you're getting shot into.
No, right? It's like you just see these people just dropping into...
That's down a toilet bowl, isn't it?
Yeah, it was crazy to watch other people do it, then to do it yourself.
Trust me on this.
Yeah, and then you're just down, and and he's going hand here, lean back, and you're push, and you're down. So yeah, the cave was very, very cool. And something I didn't realize about the tour is, I'm thinking 100 quetzales just for this cave. Like, I'm thinking it might be a lame cave, whatever. Yeah. But you get out and you get taken to the bottom of Semuc Champey, where I think is probably the coolest part of all of the waterfalls. It's like the tallest part. Okay, the water's deep.
I'll try and explain. The Semuc Champey is a cascading, and there's about 7 cascades, and there's swimming pools. They're just beautiful. But then there's a huge waterfall that I'm gonna guess is like 40, 50 feet. So when you're up at Semuc in the waterfalls, you can't get down to that level. You have to go all the way out of the park, all the way across the bridge, and back upriver to get to this part here.
Yeah, it's a little bit frustrating because I feel like the bottom of it, the really tall part, is so beautiful, and it should definitely be part of the national park that like the rest of the falls are. Right. It's technically like private property, like they only let you on there if you are part of the tours. You've told me that you've had problems with that in the past.
Yeah, I tried to get past that, and they're like, somebody's making a fortune out of this last little 300 meters of river.
Yeah, it's really frustrating because that's, like I
Yeah.
said, I think the most beautiful part of the whole falls is that bottom part. And there's like a cave in there that you can go in and come back out. Like, it's just a really cool part to be able to experience.
And once you've done all that, part of the tour, next is...
Yeah, you go, they have tubes, and you get in the tubes and you get to kind of chill and tube down the river, which was nice, very chill. The river, again, dry season, it wasn't as fast as it normally is, so it wasn't...
That's the thing. The river was only half capacity, so when you're on these tubes, you're moving even slower.
Yeah.
When I did it the one year, one of the guys that sells the beers, he's seen us coming, and there's like 6 or 8 tubes coming his direction, and he's got his cooler. He grabs his cooler, throws his tube in the water, and somehow just does a big flip and lands on the water, on his tube. Would you like to buy, and opens the beer, would you like to buy a beer, sir? And it was like we got to buy a beer off this guy after he's done all that.
It's pretty impressive. Yeah, the guys that were trying to sell beer on our route were, you buy now, pay later. They're in the tube, they're kind of handing them out, which was kind of nice, where you just get handed a beer, and then by the time you're kind of out of the tube, you get to give this money
when
over
I
for
did it, we sailed down at least a half a kilometer, and then they don't tell you this, but then you get out of the water, and then you got to haul your tube and your beer all the way back to where you started. So that was kind of cute. It was just a beautiful, amazing adventure.
Yeah, it is for 100 quetzales. I don't think you really don't beat it.
It's interesting that you enjoyed that day so much.
It was, it was like between the cave, between the waterfalls, between the tubing, like all of those experiences made it just a really, really pleasant day. And I would definitely recommend doing it.
Okay, let's leave it on that, and we'll move on to another subject.